All right, good morning, everybody. It's 8:30, time to call the meeting of April 1st, 2014 to order, and we're going to go through this day with no April Fool's jokes, at least not that I know of. So our first item today is the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second? And a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Next item is citizens to be heard. Do we have any citizens to be heard today on items that are not on the agenda? Any citizens to be heard? Final call. Any citizens to be heard? Okay, move on. Next we have some employee recognitions, but before we do that, we also got a letter from the Department of Human Resources that I would like to read because it also is a recognition. And this was addressed to myself as chair of the board, and it reads, "It is my pleasure to commend you and your staff for a perfect performance in meeting DHS Human Service financial reporting requirements for calendar year 2013. All key quarterly fiscal reports for programs your county participates in were submitted to our Financial Operations Division on or before the reported deadlines and in perfect order. This effort required submission of 32 major reports covering the 4 calendar quarters of 2013. These reports are LCTS cost report, income maintenance expense, MFIP consolidated fund, social service fund, client statistics, Title 4-E, and SEAGR, excuse me, Rhonda, you might have to help me, and BRASS, which is Based Grant Fiscal Report. If your county participates in a local collaborative, submission of this report may require the collection of multiple local partner reports for consolidated submission to DHS. I know this accomplishment requires planning and efficient operation and teamwork within your county human services department. The result is timely revenue for your county and compliance with federal reporting for us at the state. Please congratulate your management and staff on this superb effort." And this is from Lucinda Jessen, Commissioner. So congratulations to you all for that. Okay, does this work? Yes, it does. Okay. The first one we have today for longevity is for 15 years of service, and it is for Carol Wickenheiser with the GIS database. Carol? I'm going to read these plaques once because they say the same thing, just with different numbers of years on them. So, presented to you in grateful recognition for 15 years of outstanding and dedicated service to Clay County and its citizens. And this is presented on April 1st. Congratulations and thank you. Linda Cruz. Linda is our child support officer for social services. And let's see, Linda has 20 years of service. Congratulations. Julie Kennedy. Julie here? I didn't see Julie. Okay. Julie also had 20 years of service. And Sheriff, you want to take this for Matt? Matt Searle, he's the Chief Deputy for Clay County. He also had 20 years of service. Tell Matt, congratulations for us. Catherine Anderson, Public Health Nursing, 25 years of service. This one was old enough to have 30 years in. Michelle Hughes. Yeah. And finally, Janet Halverson. Janet has 35 years. That's pretty amazing. So those of you who had the 15 and 20 years, you know what you got to do to catch up. Just keep working. Unlike me, I'm calling it quits. Well, thank you all. Thanks.
There's no bills yet. I don't know.
What's it?
No bills yet.
Yeah,
They're here.
they're-
Oh, excuse me. Okay.
They started at the end of the year.
Yeah, we'll get them over to you.
Very good. Okay.
Okay, our next item is the approval of the bills and vouchers to pay. We have a motion to pay. Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Very good. Okay, we'll move into our 840 item, and this is a child abuse prevention presentation. And Rhonda Porter is going to lead this one off.
I have a couple folks with me, Scott, Madison,
Yeah, you've got a couple of...
and a couple more. All right.
Okay, Rhonda, do you want to pull that mic down there and get it nice and close to you there?
All right. We are here to talk with you about Child Abuse Prevention Month. April is Child Abuse Prevention. We have some of our staff here today. Lorraine is one of our child protection workers, and Scott Madsen is our new supervisor. So let me see, 3 weeks on the job?
A little more than 3 weeks.
Yeah, a little more than 3
and a couple
weeks.
days.
So Scott took over for Carol
Oh.
Wickstrom, so he's...
Well, congratulations. Thank you.
Yeah, and we have another supervisor, Stacy Christensen, which you have not had an opportunity to meet yet, and she was going to be here this morning and couldn't make it. But we plan to come and visit with you a little bit more in detail, probably at the end of April or early May, about more details on some of our child protection work. But today, given that April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, we wanted to talk with you about what our Child Abuse Prevention Council is doing. So I'm going to turn it over to Scott and Lorraine.
Yeah, I just wanted to speak a little bit about the council. This is a multidisciplinary team that really provides education, develops resources in prevention and intervention as well. It consists of a number of different agencies and service providers, such as social services, representation from the county attorney's office, law enforcement, mental health, corrections, public health, the schools, Guardian ad litem, Rainbow Ridge, as well as a number of additional community-based agencies as well. And in with April being Child Abuse Prevention Month, the council is requesting that the Clay County Board proclaim April as Child Abuse Prevention Month by signing the attached proclamation. And Lorraine has been part of a subcommittee that is, as well as a number of other individuals as well, that really has been doing just a lot of good things in preparation for the month of April. And I'm going to just have her speak to that.
Thank you. So for April, we're starting off the month with going to all of the schools. We have contacted all the schools in Clay County about participating this month by putting up blue ribbons on their trees around the school and on their boulevards, as well as having blue pinwheels out along with a yard sign that explains what they represent. It's called Pinwheels for Prevention, and that's actually something that started through the Minnesota Child Prevention Abuse Prevention. So we'll be doing that. We'll be handing those out to all of the schools, hopefully today or tomorrow, and Depending on the weather, we're asking the students to put them out for us. So hopefully we'll be able to see those around the community within the next couple weeks. We'll also be putting some out in front of the social services building to just raise awareness of the Child Abuse Prevention Month. We'll also be requesting all of our employees to wear blue on Friday, April 4th, to help promote awareness. And then we're also putting information out throughout the Family Service Center regarding the child abuse prevention and kind of some tips for helping people out that, you know, you see are struggling. So we're also going to be represented at Kids Fest, which is at the Moorhead Center Mall on April 12th. It's for the Week of the Young Child. We'll have a booth out there with some activities for the kids to do, and again, just raising more awareness. We've also have a PSA for radio that was created a few years ago by some of our self-group kids, which are older kids who are looking to age out of foster care, so they helped us do the voiceovers for that, so that will be running on radio. And then we also created a PSA for television this year that we will hopefully be seeing when they have open air time. So that's pretty exciting if we can see that. And then we're also going to have a billboard up on 11th Street and First Avenue North about prevention. So.
A lot of good stuff. The other thing I would add, we have about 15 child protection, child welfare social workers between Scott's unit and Stacy's unit. The difference between those two units is in Stacy's unit, they take mostly the initial calls coming into the agency. They do some of the investigative or family assessment work when a report first comes in. And then if there's determined a need for some more longer-term services or out-of-home placements occur, those cases get transferred to what we've called the ongoing unit for some of that longer-term case management. So we have some of our other staff out here in the audience, and we hope to have them be a little bit more present when we come and talk more specifically about the work that they do. In addition to what Lorraine talked about, one of the things that we did, you saw me carrying these babies. And one of the things that we did this last year is purchase 3 babies from a company called Reality Works. And I think about a couple weeks ago there was actually an article in the paper about how Sanford is using some of these babies. I think they're the same, from the same company. This one is, and they're all weighted, so they're kind of like the weight of a baby. They're all electronically tested and all those kinds of things for movement on what babies typically do. This one is just a demonstration model, and it's designed to help us educate about shaken baby. So when a baby is shaken or falls or different things, there's different lights that will go off in the head that will explain to us about where injuries occur based on the type of injury a baby has. So if I turn this on, it'll cry. It sounds just like a baby. And we've done some demonstrations with it in terms of, you know, how families oftentimes will throw babies up, or sometimes when we go out on calls with law enforcement, we hear, well, the baby rolled off of a couch. That's how they got this head trauma. And you can kind of use this as a demonstration to show, well, that type of injury isn't consistent with that type of fall, those kinds of things. So we're going to be using this. We just got these, so we're trying to go through the manuals on the best way to provide education to the public, but we think it's a good investment. So this is one of them. And then we have 2 others. We've got to name them, so. But we don't call these dolls, we call them the babies, because they really are. This one, we have another one that has, we've got 2 different skin tones. The other one is a darker skin tone. They come with car seats, and this baby is filled with all kinds of sensors. The clothes are filled with sensors, and so what we're hoping to do with these is, for families that we work with where we have some concerns about their ability to provide the nurturing and the care that babies need, we can send these home with them for whatever amount of time that we deem appropriate. There's a computer software system that goes with these. You could set the baby to be a very mild-mannered baby to a really high-needs baby, depending on what that family's reality might be. And this baby will do what babies do. it'll cry, and you got to figure out what's wrong with it. It can be fed. You know, it's actually, there's a sensor in the mouth that when you hold the bottle up, it'll sound like a baby's sucking on a bottle. If it needs a diaper change, it's got a sensor in the diaper that if you don't change it, it'll cry until you figure out that it needs a diaper change. And the minute you put that new diaper on, it'll quiet down. It'll need to burp and it'll cry. Sometimes it'll just be laying there awake and kind of cooing, and it'll monitor how much time you spend holding the baby. It'll monitor how much time the baby, there's sensors in the car seat. It'll monitor how much time the baby spends in a car seat. It monitors temperature, so if the baby's too cold, too hot. It monitors if you've changed the clothes, and spits out a nice little report when you come back to the office. I did volunteer to do this one weekend, and I will tell you, it is pretty amazing that it feels really real. I was very tired. It was up at 2:30 and 3 and 6, and it sounds like a baby, and you've got to deal with it.
Did you make Bob get up too?
Well, he said, "What did you agree to do?" Actually, it was for my daughter, who's 22, and I thought, well, this would be a good experiment we could see, but she didn't last very long. When we got the report, I responded about half the time, and she responded about half the time. You wear a bracelet, so for our families, they would, much like a event type bracelet that goes around your wrist that you really can't get off unless you cut it off. It has a monitor in it, and so when you respond to the baby, it gauges that response, and that's how it triggers. But we have some families where we think this will be really useful, some families that maybe have some low abilities that we could get a gauge on how they respond to the needs of a baby. So we're kind of excited to start using these as well. So we wanted to show you what we're doing. And if you don't support the head, all that kind of stuff, it'll cry and it'll monitor that. It'll tell you how many times, the head wasn't supported, or I think I got an 85%. I should say we. Which, you want to get 100, but we were trying to figure it out. So anyway, so that's kind of some of the things that we're doing to try to educate families in the community about child abuse prevention. So before we go on to our volunteer driver, I don't know if you want to if you want to act on the proclamation.
We sure can.
Okay.
I'll move to approve the proclamation.
Second?
Motion and second. Any further discussion?
Should we read the proclamation?
It states, Resolution 2014-22, Child Abuse Prevention Proclamation. Whereas child abuse prevention is a community problem, and finding solutions depends on involvement among people throughout the community. Whereas the effects of child abuse are felt by whole communities and need to be addressed by the entire community. Whereas effective child abuse prevention succeeds because of partnerships created between parents, practitioners, schools, faith communities, healthcare organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. Whereas family-serving, youth-focused prevention programs offer positive alternatives for young people and encourage parents and youth to develop strong ties to their communities. Whereas all citizens need to be more aware of child abuse and neglect and its prevention within the community, and be involved in supporting parents to raise their children in a safe, nurturing society. Now therefore be it resolved that the Clay County Board of Commissioners hereby proclaim April 2014 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Clay County, and call upon all citizens, community agencies, religious organizations, medical facilities, and businesses to increase their participation in efforts to prevent child abuse and neglect, thereby strengthening the communities in which we live.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carried.
Okay.
All right.
All right, we'll move on to the volunteer driver.
I have a question. Did you tell us how we bought those dolls or those babies? Was it a grant?
No, well, we actually bought them just out of some county funds in terms of
Okay.
the equipment that we've had budgeted. They are fairly expensive for the 3 dolls and the car seats, the computer software, all of the things that go with it. diapers, clothing changes, was about a little over, I want to say 3,500. So, but we purchased them with some of our funds, from our equipment funds, as well as some funds that we had left over for some of our in-home programs.
Sounds like a good investment if you
Yeah.
make use of it.
Yep.
That's a very good proactive. Okay, Rhonda, Volunteer Appreciation Week.
Okay, well, as you know, as in times past, the Volunteer Appreciation Week is April 6th through the 12th, and we have a volunteer driver program. So we want to take this opportunity to recognize them, and we do have an event coming up, but Scott actually will take over supervision of that program as well. And as you know, Kathleen Cardinal, she retired last year, so we have Marcia Nasted, who is now managing that program. So we've got both Scott and Marcia who are getting ready to have our appreciation event. But I'll let Scott talk a little bit about our numbers over the last year.
Yeah, in 2013, well, currently we have 14 volunteer drivers who just have been very important to us in assuring the transportation needs of our clients are being met, to access the needed services, attend the needed visitations and such. In 2013, our drivers transported 478 clients. They traveled over 96,000 miles and volunteered over 2,200 hours and saved Clay County approximately $39,000 in staff time. So certainly that's, we feel that has just been very, very beneficial to us and the clients that we serve. And to show our appreciation, we'd certainly like to extend our invite to the appreciation luncheon for our drivers on Monday, April 7th at 11:30, and that will occur at the Family Service Center building in room number 4.
I plan on being there.
Yeah, I've got it written in my calendar. I'm hoping to make it as well. So.
Great, thank you.
With the volunteers, drivers, we had that issue with the mileage reimbursement, wasn't it? Did that ever get straightened out? Didn't we have Senator Franken here even trying helping on that?
Right. Senator Franken's RIDE Act is still out there. I'm not exactly sure the status, but I don't think anything's passed. But that what he was trying to put into place would have addressed those no-load mile issues. And so that has still not been addressed. It has been an issue for us. A lot of the transports our drivers do, if it's a social service transport that connects to a mandated service that we have, we pay them the full mileage, irregardless of, if the person is in the car. It's those MA access transports where they don't get that no-load piece. So we do cover some of it depending on the type of transport, but it is an issue, and I think we have to continue to fight for that.
We talked about that before. Isn't that something we could cover if?
Well, I would hope we could. I thought we probably were covering.
We are doing it for the social service transports.
But not
We haven't done it for the MA access, and I'm a little cautious about it because of the volume, and then we're supplanting what Medicaid should be covering, in my opinion. But we do it for the social service transports, but we haven't gone forward with the MA access ones. It's certainly something we could look at if you'd like me to pull those numbers out so you have something to look at to see if that's something you want to do. At least then you'd have the data to
Why
make a
don't you
decision.
pull the numbers and let's
Okay.
look at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
The drivers continue to drive even though they're not being reimbursed for the...
Yeah, some of them have. We've seen less MA access transports than we have in times past. And so then what they end up doing is using other kinds of transportation where that no-load piece isn't an issue. So it certainly has reduced.
I think we need to get that information out so we
Okay.
decide if we wanted to support it.
Sure. All right.
So
that's
what
all
kind of a time frame would it take you to put something together for us?
Oh, I probably in a couple weeks I could pull those numbers and have you take a look at it.
Sometime in early May, maybe we can
Sure.
get a first look at it, and then we can discuss a little bit and maybe look at how we could incorporate that
Sure.
we start the budget process.
Sure, and there is some activity around addressing this issue this legislative session. MAXA has been involved in helping to put some different language in that could address it a little bit, so I'll have that available for you as well. Okay?
Well, when we have volunteers volunteering, we should at least be able to cover their costs, why shouldn't we? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, good report. Okay, our next item is the bid opening at 9, and I think we have to officially wait till 9 to have any last ones. So I think at this point, we'll just take just a few-minute break here till 9. All right, we'll reconvene our meeting here, and we're on our 9 o'clock agenda item, and it's the bid opening for create and bituminous projects, and we have 3 different ones, am I correct?
Yep,
Dave?
that's right, Kevin.
So we'll start off, do you have them in order? I would assume you want to start off with SAP 014-603-011?
Yeah, that would work.
All right.
We will, we'll go through each project individually, open all the bids, and then kind of depending on which project it is, kind of conditionally approve them based on the project, and we'll kind of go through that when we get done. The first project we're opening on is, like Kevin said, it's SAP 14-603-11. This is a joint project, City of Moorhead. It's bituminous mill and overlay paving here on County Road 3, 11th Street, just outside the courthouse here.
And this goes from 18 to Center Avenue?
That's correct. Yep. And we've talked to the city, obviously, quite a bit, talked to American Crystal as well as the golf course, so they're kind of aware of the upcoming issues that we'll have, and as we get a contractor and a pre-construction meeting, we'll know more details on scheduling and things later, so. Okay. First bidder is Border States Paving from Fargo, North Dakota. First thing we always look at is the bid bond, and it does look like they have a bid bond here in the amount of 5%.
Who is this first one?
Border States Paving.
Okay.
Okay. Grand total, I guess maybe I'll read our estimate too, just for the public. Our estimate on this project is $1,453,710.45. That's $1,453,710.45. The bid from Border States is $1,281,867.28. $1,281,867.28.
Did we have addendums on this one?
No addendums on this project. I don't think we had any addendums on any of them, so that'll make it a little cleaner. All right, our next bidder is Mark Sand and Gravel from Fergus Falls. They do have a bid bond here in the amount of 5%. Grand total bid is $1,135,605.11. $1,135,605.11. Our next bidder is Knife River Materials from Bemidji. They do have bid bond amount of 5% here. Okay. Grand total bid from Knife River is $1,402,864.33. That's $1,402,864.33. All right, our next bidder is Mindak Asphalt from Thief River Falls. They've got bid bond amount of 5% here. One thing that we will do is we'll take all these back when we're done and kind of go through them in a little greater detail. All right, and their grand total bid, $999,732.61. $999,732.61. Our next bidder is Central Specialties from Alexandria. They do have bid bond amount of 5% here. Grand total bid is $1,256,568.11. $1,256,568.11. Is this our last one, Nathan?
This is the last one.
Okay, the last County Road 3 bid is Northern Improvement from Fargo, North Dakota. They do have bid bond amount of 5% here. And their grand total bid is $1,541,296.45. $1,541,296.45. So it looks like our bids were all but one, I guess, was underneath our estimate. Bids look very favorable. We would like to contingently approve, I guess, based on no errors, as well as the approval from the City of Moorhead. We'll meet with their engineering department today, go through the bids. I would assume everything looks good, but we'd like to get, contingently approved based on their approval as well.
All right, let's
So move.
We have a motion.
Second.
And a second. Further discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same, motion carried. All right, so that's, low bid is contingent on the numbers working out.
Yes, yeah, make sure there's no errors in their bids, which our one office kind of construction software we've been using is helping eliminate a lot of that stuff, but there still could be an errant number here and there, but.
And because it's a joint, it also requires the approval of Moorhead, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Okay, we'll move on to SAP 014-652-13.
Yep, this is the grading work down by Barnesville. It's a little over 2 miles of the old trunk highway, I think it was 231 or old 52, I guess. This one includes concrete removal, gravel base, and a little bit of storm sewer work and some retaining wall work. So our engineer's estimate on the 52 project is $1,785,958.00. So we'll go ahead and open these ones up.
Hey, Dave, I just wanted to make a note on your memo to us here. You had indicated that this is a joint project with the City of Moorhead, and
You're wondering how you pulled that off.
I think you're one off. I don't think Moorhead wants to help us out on this project.
Might have had a cut and paste problem.
We'll accept their help, though, won't we, if they're willing to.
I'll ask if they can help us on that one. Okay, our first bidder for the 52 project is Gladen Construction. And Gladen is from LaPorte, Minnesota. They do have a 5% bid bond in their packet. Their bid, grand total bid is $2,288,482. 55? 35 cents. $2,288,482.35. Our next bidder is Midwest Contracting. We're there from Marshall. They've got a bid bond here in the amount of 5%. Grand total bid for Midwest Contracting, $1,747,469.40. $1,747,469.40. Our next bidder is R.L. Larson Excavating Incorporated from St. Cloud. They've got a bid bond amount of 5% here. Grand total bid of $1,792,472.75. $1,792,472.75. Our next bidder is Celine Brothers from Hawley. They've got a 5% bid bond here. Grand total bid, $1,997,027.40. $1,997,027.40. All right, our next bidder is H&S Contracting from Moorhead, Minnesota. He does have a bid bond amount of 5% here. Bid, grand total bid for H&S, $2,779,983.20. $2,779,983.20. Last one. All right, our last bid is Central Specialties from Alexandria, Minnesota. They do have a bid bond here in the amount of 5%. Grand total bid for Central Specialties is $2,239,835.55. $2,239,835.55. Looks like this project came in real close to our estimate, I guess, which I think is good. I know there's a lot of concrete to remove there, and it's becomes property of the contractor, so there's some issues there with what they're going to do with it. But this one doesn't have, I guess, like we talked, doesn't have really anyone else weighing in on it. We would like to conditionally approve this one based on no errors.
All right.
Move to approve.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, Dave, we'll move on to SAP 14-618-13. County Road 18, right?
Correct, yep. This is about a 5.5-mile grading job on our County Road 18. Our engineer's estimate is a little over $2 million. It's $2,302,942.50. This project, we would like to bring back. We're going to read all the bids. We're going to go through it a little bit, and we'll bring this one back for approval at a later time. Based on, it's a little more complex. We just want to make sure we got all our ducks in a row on this one.
Okay.
Our bidder is, first bidder is Midwest Contracting from Marshall, Minnesota. We've got 5% bid bond here in this packet. Grand total bid is $1,953,335.00. $1,953,335.00. Okay. Our next bidder is Red Lake Builders from Red Lake, Minnesota. They do have bid bond here in the amount of 5%. Grand total bid for Red Lake Builders is $2,036,019.67. That's $2,036,019.67.
It's for you.
Another bid just got called up.
Okay, our next bidder is Kern and Tabry. They are from Wadena, Minnesota. They do have a bid bond here in the amount of 5%. Grand total bid for Kern and Tabry is $2,380,604.26. $2,380,604.26. Our next bidder is R.J. Zavro and Sons from East Grand Forks. They've got a bid bond amount of 5% here. Grand total bid is $1,995,862.88. $1,995,862.88. Got two of them that are real close. Our next bidder is Landwehr Construction from St. Cloud. Bid bond amount of 5% is included in their packet. Grand total bid for Landwehr is $2,293,078.60. $2,293,078.60. like we got 3 bidders left. Next bidder is Celine Brothers from Hawley. They do have their bid bond, the amount of 5%. Grand total for Celine Brothers is $2,282,102.40. That's $2,282,102.40. Our next bidder is H&S Contracting from Moorhead. He's got his bid bond amount of 5%. His bid is $2,287,218.33. $2,287,218.33. Last bidder here. Our last bidder is Central Specialties from St. Cloud, or Alexandria, I mean. They've got bid bond amount of 5%. Grand total bid for Central Specialties is $2,862,139.65. $2,862,139.65. I guess it does look like at this time Midwest Contracting has got the lowest bid. We'd like to take them back, go through the bids, and then we'll bring them back for approval at a future, at the next board meeting or a future meeting here. It does look like on the County Road 3 project, our low bidder, apparent low bidder is Mindak Asphalt, just under $1 million on that one. And then on the 52 project, it appears like our low bidder is Midwest Contracting from Marshall, but there again, we'll approve those low bids today on those 2 projects based on Moorhead's approval and no errors on the 52 project.
All right. And you'll come back to us when for the other one? Next week?
Well, as soon as we get things put together, we'll have to see how long it takes to kind of get our ducks in a row on that one.
Do we need a motion on that last one?
No. They want to wait. You want to wait, right?
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
All right, Tim. Watching the meeting on the video, and when I saw these guys come up, I thought I was going to be following the Blues Brothers. All he needs are sunglasses and hats. Okay, what have you got for us? Good morning. Well, this is a project that's long overdue, actually. Somewhere 5 or 6 years ago, we came to the county board and we established a new shoreline zoning district called Shoreline General, which would allow some commercial uses in it. That was established based on the fact that an individual was going to be platting a piece of property, and once the plat was taken care of, it would be rezoned and it could be used for commercial. Well, that never occurred. The plat never came in. We did establish the zoning district. We never applied it anywhere. So what we've got in front of us today is a couple of items. One is to approve a 2-lot plat in the same area as had been proposed about 5 years ago, and also to apply to that plat the shoreland general zone. So I guess we can take them either way. The Planning Commission has seen both of these.
In your packets, you have the memo that the conditions that the Planning Commission had kind of put on them, the fact that access roads and everything need to be designed to the county standards. The intent is to access these parcels from County Road 10, not from State Highway 32. That there be a wetland evaluation from the SWCD, and again, in the plating process, those lots have to be rezoned to shoreline general for the proposed uses to occur. So you've got a copy of the plat. You've got an aerial, I believe, showing you where that is. It's the southeast quadrant of the intersection of our County Road 10 and State Trunk Highway 32, just north of Rolog. It's going to be about an 8.01 acre subdivision with 2 lots in it. The applicant does not intend to sell the lots. He intends to lease them to parties that are interested in them. And one of the parties that is interested in the smaller of the 2 lots right now is the Lakes Wind Energy Project. They are looking for an operations and maintenance building, and that's what's being proposed on that lot right now. We'll see a building permit after this process is completed. The remainder of Lot 2, right now the applicant's intent is to keep that in cultivated agriculture until some use arises that piques his interest, and then the use may change. But right now, we know that Lot 1 is being proposed for an operations and maintenance building for the Lakes Winds project.
And that falls within the guidelines of the shoreline management?
Yeah, in our shoreline general, we do allow commercial uses that don't have major impacts. We probably would have an issue here with a gas station, that sort of thing. Yeah. Although that was what was being talked about 5 years ago. I guess if there's any questions that the board might have, like I said, they've both been to public hearing at the Planning Commission. We didn't have a lot of input from anybody other than the individuals. If you look at the air photograph, there is a residence located directly north across County Road 10. It's in the northeast quadrant of that intersection. They came in, they were a little bit concerned as to where access might be and that sort of thing, and that there might be some use over there that's going to be intense. The applicant did state what his intended uses are going to be for the immediate future, and the property owners across the road didn't have any major issues with that. So.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, John.
Yeah, I think that we had a pretty good discussion about this both 5 years ago and now. And one thing that's improved, it seems to me, over those 5 years, is that it's now a 4-way stop. Right. At that intersection, which was a very dangerous intersection because of the angles. But the 4-way stop makes it much safer, and I'm not aware that there's been any serious accidents there since then.
I guess I'm not sure, but yes, when it was a through intersection on Highway 32, it was more of a concern because there was issues with whether traffic was going to stop, where your access was going to be, that sort of thing. Right now, like I said, the access is intended to come off County Road 10 about 350 feet east of the intersection. There's an existing approach. County Highway Department has looked at it, and based on the fact that that intersection is now a 4-way stop, they don't have any major issues with it. MnDOT has responded back with there is an access off the western edge on Highway 32. Right now it's just a minimal field access. The intent is not to access there right now, but if in the future there's a proposed access at that site, MnDOT will go through the review and the recertification of that access. If there's an intent to access off of Highway 32, there's probably going to be a requirement for a turn lane and all sorts of other things. My feeling is that the applicant probably is not interested in putting out that sort of money for an access, so I guess we'll have to wait and see what might transpire on the remaining lot.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the rezoning of the 7-acre parcel from Shoreline Special Protection Low Development to Shoreline General Use District which would allow some commercial uses.
Okay, and does your motion also include the,
I think we need a separate motion.
oh, okay, that's on the conditions, okay, all right. Yes, very good. Okay, we have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, motion carried.
And I would also move that we approve Ellis Ockery's request for 2 lots platted subdivision called Ockery subdivision, and that it be approved with the conditions as listed. All roads, accesses are designed, permitted, and instructed to specifications provided by the Clay County engineer. The applicant must contact Soil and Water Conservation District for wetland evaluation and provide documentation of the evaluation to the planning office. And third, that the proposed lot must be, well, that's already been done, I guess. So there's 2 conditions.
All right, so we have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried.
Thank you very much. Mr.
Thank you,
Chair,
Tim.
The plat is
For sign? I'll get it afterwards.
ready to sign in
Okay.
Vicky's office.
Okay, I'll meet you in there after we're done.
Do that for you.
Okay, I can do that. Okay, our next item is appointment of planning commissioner, and it looks like Commissioner Everett wants to discuss this.
Yeah, we've been looking for a replacement for Marvin Blakeway, who was from that area, Hitterdall area, was on for some time, and he went off now. And we were looking for a replacement, and we're pleased to recommend Andrea Cocksher, who previously had been on the Planning Commission, but served only 1 term, and I think went off for family reasons. She had lots of activities with her kids and so on. But it's now, what, 4 years later, or I don't know how long since she went, 6 years maybe. And she is willing to come back on, and I think she'd be a great asset to the, she's from Highland Grove Township, is a township officer, and also school board member, so she's very active in community, and I would recommend that we approve Andrea Cocksher for this planning commission position.
If that's a motion.
Did you make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make that a motion.
Okay, John, and a second. Yeah, I want to comment. I remember her from years ago, and I think this is a good choice to have on there. She, she takes her work seriously, and she does very good at it. So I'm glad to see she's willing to come back on. No other comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We're down to committee reports. Frank, you didn't bring your book today, so we're going to jog your memory.
Yeah. I know I went family health care on Thursday. Patricia Patron, CEO there, gave a very good report on what the goals of the family health care is and what their plans are and stuff like that. Very good report by Patricia. Friday night, went to the K9 supper at VFW. Had a very good turnout there for them, so hopefully they can get that going. The only other thing, I got the Agassiz Recreation Trail, so the board member that came on in January has decided to resign, and so we're looking for a new member there, so if anybody out there in that area, or of course anybody in the county can get on it, I guess, but I'd be interested in finding someone, many of the places that are interested in serving on that board. That's it.
All right, thank you, Frank. Grant?
I had nothing last week.
Nothing. John?
Okay, on several things that we and write so small it's hard to read. Several meetings in relationship to the historical and cultural society's capital campaign that we've been working on. There was I think 3 meetings ahead with that. But Thursday we had the Solid Waste Advisory Committee meeting here, and Kevin and Brian might speak to that. Discussed a number of issues related to recycling and to talking about the incinerator and so on. A lot of things are going to be looked at. The permit, talked about our permit progress, and I think that's due in May for getting our permit renewed and so on. So, but the others may have more detail there. Thursday also went to Monoman for the joint watershed or water board meetings with the counties. Like I said before, there's 18 counties that are supposed to be a part of that, and we normally have about half of them there, which was the case this time as well. Sharing issues with water management, but also any other issues that counties are involved with, and gets to be some good discussion about county business. Let me see. Then Friday had the afternoon and evening with the Buffalo Red Watershed District Advisory Committee. Very thorough report about all the activities that the watershed has been involved with this last year, and Bruce does a super job of telling month by month what activities that the watershed board has been involved in. And then we had the advisory committee meeting following that, and recommendations again to get back on the red board, Red River Management Board, and of course there's still some resistance there, but I think we're getting closer. And we do have appointments that come up this summer that we need to be mindful of. I know that Jerry Van Amber was seeking to be reappointed, and Nelson also, his term is up, and I haven't heard if Kurt is going to apply again or not. But we do have at least one other person that's interested, and he was going to be sending a letter to Brian indicating his interest. It's a farmer from Comstock that was interested. So I think that was it. Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. The only meeting that I had last week was the Solid Waste Advisory meeting, and as John said, we talked about several things. We got a landfill update from Larry Henry, and we got a report on where we're at with our permit renewal. We had a presentation from Minn Kota Recycling and Fox Sanitation regarding the recycling projects that we're trying to improve on with apartment buildings throughout the area. What works, what doesn't, and what maybe can be put into some planning for future construction to allow room for that to occur. Then we got an update on our recycling and public education program with Shannon, and then then Kirk Rosenberger went over several things upcoming regarding future fees and flow, getting involved with flow control and those types of things. But that's all that I had, and so we'll go to our administrator's report with Brian.
Well, good morning, and thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, just a little continuation on the solid waste. For the public's information, there's going to be a collection site, a day collection site at Holly and Barnesville. That'll be new this year for the household hazardous waste. They'll be down there to collect that stuff. So they want to get the word out on that. So that's a real good thing. Otherwise, you covered it in really good detail. One of the points that was brought up to me that I said I'd bring to the board is our participation in the county fair. Seems like every year we discuss this, and last year we had a really good showing. We went out on government night, which was Thursday night. They announced it on a regular basis. I was down there for an hour and a half, 2 hours myself, and they kept announcing it. And I think we had at least 7 departments represented, and we had just absolutely very, very little turnout. About the ones that drew attention were the Sheriff's Department when they have a static display, and in our Highway Department with some of their big equipment draws attention. And so we I was asked yesterday, and I said, well, we'll talk about it at management team, and I know the board wants our participation. So we may be looking at, if unless you folks want something different, probably, I haven't talked to Bill or Dave yet, but I'm assuming they will want to participate, and solid waste will want to participate as well. But it'll probably be just those three departments, unless I hear different from you, that you want something different. Like I said, we gave it the old 1-2 trial last year, and like I said, they really were good about it. They kept announcing it, stop by, and, you know, people got other things on their minds, I guess, when they're out for the evening. So, but we'll certainly give it some thought and give us some feedback on it. We'd appreciate it.
Question, Brian, were we there in the evening?
Yes, we were.
Last year?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And before, we'd been there in the afternoon, and we didn't think that was very good, so we tried the evening last year. We were there. We had set up until, I think, at least 8 o'clock it was, not afterwards. And like I said, I know I was out there till 8 o'clock at those booths, and boy, it was quiet. A lot of people around, but they didn't want to talk business, I guess.
Evidently, they had no complaints.
Well, I mean, that's one interpretation.
Well, I don't know that we need to be there every year.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's nice to get out there to show them, you know, what other services that they don't normally see
Right.
go on to the county are there. But there's no point in making our staff sit out there and talk to themselves. And
Right, yeah. Well, I was there, so they had a good time, but... Okay.
I want to move on.
Is he done? Are you done yet? Okay. We had a construction meeting last Wednesday, and Commissioner Ingersoll attended that. Things are moving along well. They were painting last Friday. John, when I talked to you, or Commissioner Everett, when I talked to you on the way out there, the painters were there when I got there, Lori and I got there. So they were moving forward. They're going to put the ceiling in, and it's moving right along. So I think it's I stopped and think, the 26th, Saturday, the 26th of April, we'll be moving motor vehicle renewals and testing out of the space that they're in into the remodel space on the north side, and then they will, you know, push forward with completing that side. So it's moving along satisfactorily. I did have about an hour visit with Holly Witt from Lakes Country Co-op. Commissioner Everett had set that up. She's a new person in an outreach program, wanting to know what involvement, what they can help the counties with, and we talked about a couple different things. One was looking at purchasing items and things, and also they had offered some assistance with, we're kind of talking about a facilitator when we talked about the Human Service Consortium with the 3 to 4 counties, and they would be willing to help with that, so we're going to discuss that further, so that was good. We had a conference call, about an hour and some conference call, referenced the diversion, and this is kind of a brainstorming session, talking about authorization when that may take place and the scheduling of it, and then the funding issue, you know, the sales taxes that the North Dakota side has been collecting. They're about at the end of the spending on that, so they'll have to look at bonding or temporary loans or something to move forward with some pretty aggressive projects this summer. I attended a conference call over in social services with Primacare. You remember that methadone clinic that was in and presented to you, and you sent a letter to State Department of Human Services that you wouldn't like to see that licensed here, and so we spent about an hour. It was Rhonda and I, and she had 3 of her staff people there as well, and we answered questions and expressed your desire to not have that licensed. We said, yes, there's a need in the region, but not in the Minnesota side, and Rhonda had expressed that. I have that in an email that she expressed that to the law enforcement and in the community, that so that we'd had this meeting and things. So we just wanted to keep you guys in the loop on that.
Just to follow up on that too, I had a conversation with that person out of St. Paul too, and explained our position as a county board, along with the law enforcement from both Clay County and the city of Moorhead, having real concerns about that. So
Good.
then from there I forward
forward her to Rhonda, and I'm assuming that's how your meeting.
Oh, maybe that's where it came from.
Happening, so.
Okay, very good. Well, then, they got the message from all sides.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good, good. Jenny and I met on the Agassiz Trails issue and discussed it at some length. There is a joint powers agreement. We do have some concerns of it, and we feel there needs to be some clarity on that. The ownership is in commons with the 3 counties, which, according to the legal language, and Jenny can jump in here, but that means that we own the trail equally, and we have just a small portion of it. So we do have some concerns about liability and future costs and what we should do with that. So I think the board is we're going to have a real serious discussion as to what direction you folks want to go on that, and we will try and make it happen. So, Jenny, I can finish, and there are some other things, but if you want to jump in on this.
Well, I think that's very accurate. The 3 counties own the whole trail in common. So like Frank had said at last week's meeting, we own the whole trail in common. We don't just own the Clay County portion, which is something that was set in motion, back in the 1990s when we acquired ownership initially. Whether that makes sense still today is the question. And then as to liability, we've got some questions as well. The Joint Powers Board does have its own insurance through MCIT, but there's some coverage issues there that we're going to have to explore.
Do we own in common own the land or just the trail? I mean, is it
It's a land, it is the land, and it's described as 50 feet on either side of the midpoint of the railroad, the abandoned railroad. So it's 100 feet across. And whether that still makes sense that we want to own it in common with the other 2 counties, or whether it's more appropriate that go to the joint powers entity, and that entity hold title of the land versus the counties. Those are all things that we're kind of thinking of at this point. We kind of traced back historically how the entity was formed and the funding that initially started the entity and enabled it to do the work that it did. Now that funding, of course, has run out, and there's no incoming monies from any of the counties, so kind of puts us at a crossroads.
Yeah, I think that was the start of the counties. Each put 15,000 into a fund, and the intent was that the arts board's going to pay that 15,000 back. But I mean, I think that's out of the picture now. I think now they're looking for more funding. So.
Right. Yeah. It did look like we had advanced a substantial amount of money, and Polk and Norman had as well. And then we were kind of looking at the financial reports. See, the information we had was kind of sketchy. We had a pretty good file in the sense that we had the formation documents and those things, but the entity probably has better documentation somewhere. We just don't know where. We believe Clay County did get some of that money paid back, but probably not in whole.
And do we end at Ulen? Is it just from the north up to Ulen?
I don't even think we go to Ulen. Well, probably is to Ulen. I think it's 5.3 miles, something like that, from the county line in.
Okay.
Okay. And there's no other kind of trail from there on, so it just ends. There's no.
Well, I think the intent is sometimes to connect that with this Heartland Trail that they're talking about, that continue that trail on down and to connect that with the Heartland Trail. So I don't know.
But the railroad's not available to the south, is it?
No,
I mean, that's
that's
still used. Yeah.
It's being used.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Brian,
Mr.
come
Chair,
on.
I'll continue. I'm just about done here. Had new hire and orientation. We had 3 people go through that, so it's slowing down a little bit, which is a good thing. And then just wanted a final reminder that tomorrow we'll have that training and goal setting. We have the lean orientation from, I think it's 8 to 11, and then 11:30 we will start with the goal setting, and that is at the Courtyard at Marriott hopefully you folks still have that on your agenda to attend. And, Mr. Chair, that's about it.
Okay. Brian, I'll talk to you after the meeting here, in between the insurance meeting or something, in regards to the times. I'll be in and out tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll talk to you about that.
Very good.
Okay, anything else? I guess with that, we will stand adjourned.